All right, guys. Another Prepared American here today with a new video telling you about how to be prepared and the basics of that. Today's video, we're going to be kind of diving into the mindset and the basic things you need because it can be very overwhelming at first when you're getting into the topic because there's so much material out there already. You'll have the top 50 lists of food you need to prepare before the world ends this year and all kinds of other stuff. So going at it from a more sensible, reasonable approach, and just trying to prioritize the things that matter most, at least to get started. So we'll be using this guy just so I don't get completely lost in my train of thought. Um, so for starters, the first point in this list of five things is going to be start small and simple. So basically, what that means is you don't need to have $1 million underground bunker complex like the Fallout games to live in a scenario where times are hard. Because realistically, that's what we're preparing for. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst, and real reality falls somewhere in between that, right? So, whether it is inflation of prices, whether it is scarcity of resources, whether it is full out civil war, we want to be prepared for all of that, but it all starts somewhere. And the best ways to do that is to start with little things that are A, affordable, and B, manageable. It's easy to, it helps you to ease into it. Okay, so point number two, you start with what you need to survive. Those things being food, water, shelter. You can go 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. You can go a while without shelter, I suppose. But even then, if you're in the woods, you want something over your head, you want a way to help stay warm. It'll be conducive to your survival if you stay sheltered, as well as fed and hydrated. Because, like the last video that was talking about bag preparedness, if you're not fit, you're gonna die, and if you're dehydrated, you're probably gonna die too. So remember that water preps are essential. It's also easy to do, right? You stop at you're shopping every week, every 2 weeks or whatever. You see at the local food line, it is you know four for $3 on SpaghettiOs or whatever. Pick them up. It's not going to be the healthiest option, but it's going to be the thing that you may need to survive in a situation where there's food scarcity or something like that. So keeping those kinds of things in mind makes it easy, and you don't feel the hurt of dropping all of that money on 800 pounds of rice and beans as you would buying a few cans of food every once in a while. And then when it comes to shelter, there is a problem in this country with prices of homes, prices of rent, things like that. So that's a little bit harder of a one to prep for, but it is one to prioritize because if you don't have a roof over your head, that needs to be your number one priority. Uh, and I'll link to some nationwide resources in the description that can help you if you are in a situation that's leaving you homeless or whatever the new word is for an unhomed person or whatever, right? Um, but yeah, there'll be links in the description of that. There'll be links in the description to a few other things as well: website, social medias, Patreon. Started that up, so if you guys want to, it starts at $5. Kind of going into that. Shameless plug there. Also have merch. I don't know if you can see it, but this is one of our hoodies. I designed it myself, and I think it's pretty cool. So check them out if you can. On to point three, and that is stress management, something not enough people talk about, especially when it comes to the preparedness community and stuff like that. It's super easy to get overwhelmed by the world. There's so much going on all the time, whether it's the news cycle or whatever you want to call it. It makes it so impossible to feel like everything is going to be okay because you see everything that's going wrong. But being able to separate yourself from that and do things that manage your stress, right? Do things to help de-stress and then managing your stress while it's happening, because sometimes we can't avoid it. Our lives are inherently stressful, and so we will have to do things that stress us. It's just reality of life. So being able to manage that effectively, and then also de-stress after the fact or on the weekend or whatever in healthy ways, right? Because drinking a fifth of vodka and daring me to drive probably isn't the healthiest way to deal with stress. Whether it's working out, hiking, spending time with friends, family, video games, whatever it may be that helps you de-stress, as long as it's in a relatively healthy way in moderation, like why not? You need that so that way you can keep going, because we need to remember life is a marathon, not a sprint, and preparedness is the same way. There is no prize at the end. It is just a matter of making it there. And so if you make it there too soon because you burned out, well, that is an extreme shame, and I don't want that for anybody. Um, all right. Um, Fourth point kind of goes off of the managing stress, but it is also managing time. So it is so easy, especially on YouTube, where we're at right now, to fall down rabbit holes of just spiraling down, down, down until you're on to, the 5G making the frogs gay level stuff, right? Like it is one of those things. It's hard that it's much harder to manage that, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. It's so hard to stop scrolling, but sometimes you do need to take that break. I try to give myself like every couple of weeks of just taking in, consuming information and media. I should take a break, and I'll take breaks from YouTube. I'll delete Instagram off my phone for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever I need to again take that time to decompress, deconflict in my life, and just kind of let it take a break. Because realistically, most of those things I'm seeing that I'm deep diving into, it can wait. Because again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I don't need to become a master carpenter, a master water purification expert, a master shooter, a master lifter in a week. So me deep diving on YouTube, watching hours of content isn't going to help me to do that. What's going to help me is resting, thinking about it, being uh, thoughtful, and oh god, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but it'll come to me tonight when I'm laying in bed and I'll remember it. But yeah, being able to apply those things is going to be hugely beneficial to you, and remembering that each little piece that I bite off, I want to chew on it, really digest it, so that way I know that what I just took in is actually good for me and it's good information and stuff like that. And the fifth most important thing when it comes to being prepared, the way to get into it, right, is work on building a community. We as people are communal in nature, and because of that, we work better as teams. We, regardless of how lone wolf you feel, if you don't know something, you won't just suddenly know it being by yourself. But if you have a community of people from different backgrounds and different jobs and different walks of life, you're going to be so much better off as a group in a situation like this, even if it's just your neighbors to start, your neighbors, your friends, your church goers, whatever. It could even be, YouTube channels that have groups and stuff inside of them because their community's gotten big enough that they have that. It is definitely possible that you find community in that. And it reminds you that you're not alone, right? And that kind of goes back into the stress management piece, is knowing that you are not alone. Obviously not. You're here listening to me talk about how to start getting prepared. There's a million other videos talking about it as well. And so being able to, source these things from, reputable guys. I know City Prepping is a really big one. He has a really big group of people online. I think it's like an open Discord group or something like that. But check out his channel, City Prepping. I think his name's Chris. Um, he does a lot of stuff. The S2 Underground is another channel that has a community within it. They do all kinds of local news reports and other things like that. So being able to find those kinds of groups and contribute to them, or even just sit there and take it all in and look at, what's around you and realizing that you aren't alone. That in and of itself is such a huge boost to your morale and your well-being, and then your capability, because you bring something to the table. Honestly, you do. We all have something that we are good at or that we know. that someone else doesn't. And being able to add to that and bring that into a group is what furthers us, and that's what brought us further as a society. We need community. It is one of the most important things that we have as humans in our monkey brains and our ape brains, is that sense of community. But yeah, so that's the five. I feel like five most important things to remember whenever you're getting into prepping, how to start getting into it and stuff like that. Um, I appreciate everyone who's watching. So far, we've been doing really good on the channel. Definitely exceeding my expectations. It's been pretty amazing. Uh, all glory to God, of course. He does everything, and if he wants it to be done, he will be. So much love to him. Uh, Stay hydrated, stay strapped, and stay blessed. This was another Prepared American, and hopefully you guys like, comment, subscribe, and do all that stuff as well. See ya.